Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Children of all ages. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Honolulu. You are all welcome in this place, and welcome to this special and rare Sunday service when we will be celebrating our lay ministers and ordaining our new lay ministers. My name is Steve. I will be your worship associate this morning. We are a free religious community inspired by shared principles and a mission boldly to grow compassion, justice, and joy. Good, you've been practicing. Today's thought from our covenant of right relations is to create mutual trust by communicating privately and promptly with each other to resolve problems. Refrain from speaking ill of another. Now, I asked a mission ministry team member if maybe just a little bit of recreational ill speaking might not be okay, because you know it is so much fun. You know, yeah, you know. Apparently no means no. No ill speaking. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Now, I have the special privilege of welcoming the Reverend Bob Frazier with us today. Now, Bob joins us regularly, in fact, but he's joining us especially today to help us ordain these new lay ministers. A ceremony that has special meaning for him as the embodiment of our mutual ministry with one another. Bob came to us originally in 1985 as the fifth of 7 installed ministers in this church since 1957. Bob is a career change minister. Second career. He was raising cattle and training horses when he found Unitarian Universalism through a fellowship in Billings, Montana. The meaning and the power of mutual ministry among members of a congregation called to him in Billings, and here he is today. We would also like to extend a special welcome to all our guests this morning. Whether you are visiting a Unitarian Universalist church for the first time, or whether you are visiting Honolulu from another UU church elsewhere in the universe, you are all welcome here this morning. And you are all of you, you are all invited to coffee and fellowship after the service, where the theme, as always, will be compassion, justice, and joy, and pastries.
Owen is going to light our chalice this morning. And while he's doing that, will you join me in the words for the chalice lighting? Okay. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
Good morning. All right, can I get a big woohoo? Awesome. There are so many children and families here today that my heart is overflowing. I mean, I'm like blown away. There are so many new faces. All right. So, my first question. Actually, I have to depart. Two things. We had donations for the Philippines Owl Program that Steve spoke about. I am going to tell you how much you all donated last week. $1,020. That's amazing. Okay. So, very, very good. I'm so thrilled by that. The second thing is that upstairs after service today, 11:30, we have a parent orientation for a senior high sexuality class, our OWL class. If you are the parent of a senior high student and want to learn more about it, please come upstairs, no commitment. All right, with that, today is a lay ministry ordination, and so I'm just really curious about what that means. So I thought I would ask a student, who here thinks they know what a lay minister is? Okay, none of the students are raising their hands except my own child. Okay, all right, I won't use the plant. All right, who here? Owen, can you tell me what you think a lay minister is?
No.
Says no. All right. Mark, what's a lay minister?
I don't know.
They don't know. Okay, there's clear from this, you know what, these are old smart kids. These are young smart kids, but Okay, so it's clear that we need some education. So all you people who are under the age of, 100, okay, lay ministers are for you, okay, whether you're 2 or 102, lay ministers. So I figured I'd take this opportunity to tell you what a lay minister is. And you know what? There are no children's picture books on lay ministry. Like, a lay minister, no, couldn't find it. So I decided I would find somebody who was the closest thing to a lay minister. Ernst, the Swiss mountain climber. All right. Oh, excuse me. Here we go. Sorry. Ernst Goat could climb up mountains. He could climb down mountains, too. Heidi Goat, there she is, little Heidi Goat, had a cow who could climb up mountains, but her cow could not climb down again. One day when Ernst was playing his long alphorn, Heidi came running and said, "My cow has climbed the mountain again." Oh, dear. And Ernst climbed up the mountain. "This is the last time I will bring Heidi's cow down from the mountain," he said. So he tied a rope around the cow and started to lower her down to the meadow below. Physics are a miracle. Physics are amazing. Okay. Suddenly he slipped. Oh no, and fell. Ernst caught a branch just in time with his axe. "I will never bring this cow down from the mountain again," he said. Never. The very next day, Heidi came to Ernst and said, "My cow has climbed the mountain again." Ernst grabbed his rope and axe. "This is the last time I will bring a cow down from the mountain," he said. I wonder if it was. That's it. So, there they are, your group of cow rescuers. When you see them, you can think of this goat and go to them in your time of need. All right. Let's sing our children upstairs.
Okay, with that, can we please make a bridge and sing the kids upstairs? Here we go. One more step. We will take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word. We will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more song. One more song. We will sing one more song till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
honored to be here this morning. Okay. I think that cow needed to learn about tough love. It's a special day to think about ministry to one another. There are many things that can be said about ministers. True ministers, whether ordained or not, are many things. Are teachers, or comforters, observers, artists, caretakers, prophets, and often necessary thorns in our sides. They remind us to take time for ourselves, to honor our families, to appreciate the gift of life and the wonder of being, to sing boisterously the blessing of living. In their best moments, ministers challenge us to be our true selves, to discover our essential nature, embrace it, and then express it in the service of love and justice in the world. And may our ministers, our lay ministers this day, and our entire congregation think about that ministry that they have and do to one another. Thank you.
I would now like to call all of the lay ministers forward. If the new lay ministers would line up over here on my right, and the elder lay ministers would line up over here on my left. And I will turn the microphone over to Mickey Selwyn.
We have made as a part of our program today the ordination as the responsive reading, or the responsive reading as the ordination, whichever way works best for you. There are several parts that are read by the elder, not elderly, but elder lay ministers. And there are parts that are read by the congregation. Up on the screen, in the sheets, join in.
Please join me in the responsive reading. Speaking for the current lay ministers of the congregation, I am pleased and honored to offer my support to your ministry. I want to emphasize that our true conviction that the order of ministry is not inferior or superior. We, the people of the First Unitarian Church, Honolulu,
Our ministries are not greater or lesser, but individual and different. We promise to give your ministry a fair climate in which to grow, and to be ever mindful that you are volunteers, giving freely of your time and talents. In recognition of that generosity, we pledge to repay you with our gratitude, respect, and love.
We offer you our hands in welcome and partnership. We covenant to walk with you as respected colleagues. We will learn much from each other and from the beloved congregation we serve. For the ministry, each of you is one of us. We are all lay ministers of this community. We are all ministers to one another. Yet you have set yourselves somewhat apart from us by your willingness to care for our needs, by your courage to step into our lives, and by your love freely given. We, the congregation, honor your decision to serve among us, and trust you
ministers of the Presbyterian Church of Honolulu. We welcome you into our team and to our family. The grace and gravity of our calling now calls you to join us, sharing amongst us.
And as the people of this church, the individual talents we bring.
Of the First Unitarian Church of Honolulu, is it truly your desire?
We are lay ministers. It is truly my desire.
We have not had this tradition long. It came to us with Reverend Jennifer Kwong, who recently left for the mainland. We have had our lay ministers wearing kukui nut lei to set them apart so that people who were interested in having counseling or telling a story or something could know who they are. Of course, the kukui lei that we wear are not the only kukui lei on the planet. So what we are doing here is infusing these particular lei with a sacred trust. A ring is only a ring until you put it on somebody's finger for a reason. A room is only a room until you make it your own sacred space. And a lei is a lei that is our commitment to you, to help you help us. So we will start. We have, okay. This is in alphabetical order, not because we love them differently. Russell is not here, so let's do. Okay. Oh, in case you didn't know, that's
Jeff Gillis Davis, welcome. I'm going to hold your program. Beth Marshall, lady in blue. Beth Marshall, welcome. Michael Brockard. And Sheila O'Keefe, welcome.
You are ordained. And now we're going to hear a little bit of their stories from each of them.
When Mickey Selwyn first approached me with the idea of becoming a lay minister, my initial response was, Mickey, trust me, you don't want me. I'm not your guy. I drink tequila, I chase women, and I'm going to wind up in the paper one day for all the wrong reasons. And Mickey said, perfect. As an atheist, one of my favorite things to do is to go around quoting God. I love it. And perhaps my favorite quote from my favorite God came from the 1970s movie. I don't know if you remember it, called Oh God, with George Burns. You remember that movie and John Denver? It was a wonderful movie. And the most poignant moment in the movie came, John Denver was driving him in the car, George Burns was in the back seat, remember that? And he was asking him all these questions, all these really relevant questions about life and everything else. And John Denver finally asked him, he said, hey, life isn't always easy, you know. How come you never gave us any help down here? And George Burns took the cigar out of his mouth and he looked at him and he said, I did. I gave you each other. And each other, folks, is all we have. That's why I decided to accept Mickey's proposition and become a lay minister. I don't know, nor could I ever pretend to know, what's going to happen in the next life. And in fact, I'm a bit suspect of people who say they do. But I do know the only conversation that I want to have, and in fact, the only conversation worth having, is what happens in this life. And to that extent, each other is all we have. And being able to serve one another is the ultimate expression of being able to uplift, affirm, and promote our own humanity. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Gillis Davis, and about 6-8 months ago, I came up to Mickey. I was like, you know, it'd be great to have some kind of young blood lay ministers, and you know, there's plenty of people in the community that could be lay ministers. I even said, you know, Lisa would be a great lay minister. I was pushing the job any way I could. And then a month later, Mickey comes back and says, hey, Jeff, why don't you become a lay minister? And I had pretty much the same response as Michael's like, what, me? No. So for me, I wanted to be a lay minister once I thought about it in the form of community building. You know, I'm an atheist and a TED Talk junkie. So I kind of think in my mind, I have a pass on coming to church on Sunday. I can sit home all Sunday and just watch TED Talks. Woohoo! So what gets me here? Well, one, the music, the ministry, and you guys, this community. It's the community that acts as a glue, both for our individual selves and society. You know, we go through life and we have our status quo, and you know, Disney does this pretty well. You get your status quo in the beginning of the movie, and about 10 or 12 minutes in, something happens, some inciting event happens, and the main character is thrown into turmoil. We've all been there. For me, as a Disney character, maybe it's Bill Parr, the Incredibles. He wants to be a great superhero. Me, I want to be a great scientist. And you go through this turmoil, and you get to know the person in the movie, and they have these more superficial things that they're fixing on that will bring them happiness. And then the turmoil increases, things become more serious, more stressful, even more dangerous. And then the main character fixes on what's inside them, what's internal, what brings them happiness through themselves. And for me, it's realizing, oh, it's family, it's you guys. You're all family. And from that event, you have the choice, that revelation. This is what's going to be. And the turmoil goes away. We all saw with the Jonah story last weekend that, you know, the seas got rough, and then when he lent himself into the ocean, the ocean's calm. Well, when we make that decision to, you know, choose what's inside us to calm our ocean, we can do that with friends. And from the beginning to the end, we're not the same person. We've hopefully matured, become something new. As a church, we're going through that now. We're going through our turmoil of what do we want for our ministry? Do we want a fixed minister? We want visiting ministers? We can all work on that together as a community to bring us together. So for me, as I mentioned before, I want us to come together as a community, and I see my role in that as working bringing us all together, being great listeners, so that at the end of the day, we are tighter together. We can weather those storms as a big cruise ship of Unitarian Universalism rather than just a single lifeboat of one or two of us just out there in those threatening, scary oceans. Thank you.
I'm going to read a poem that I wrote a few years back. It's called Sadness. I probe my sadness cautiously with the edge of my mind as my tongue would touch a sore tooth. Fearful of sharp pain or some foreboding wobble, but it is firm and unresponsive. A cup of tea or a nice long walk ought to help, but they don't. All my tricks to dispel gloom fail. It lies there like a sick old dog, head on paws, mournful eyes, awaiting some intervention. I've had times in my life when I needed some cheering up or an attentive friend, but I never wanted to bother anybody. I'm a reserved person, self-sufficient, maybe too self-sufficient for my own good sometimes. And I think there are a lot of people here who are like that. All of these wonderful lay ministers are warm and generous and outgoing people. And I'm afraid I may not have those qualities in great enough measure for this job. But I do know what it's like not to be noticed, even invisible sometimes. It's my ambition to keep an eye out for people here who don't want to bother anybody. And also I'd like a chance to get to know a lot more of you. So if your sister is too far away, or you're wishing your grandmother were still around, or you're a pagan who wants to talk shop, tap me on the shoulder, and maybe we can share a cup of coffee back in the gallery, and you can tell me how things are going for you. I attend services and events on the leeward side, and I'm here a couple of times a month. So don't mind bothering me. I look forward to talking to more of you.
Last but not least. So I titled my little speech, Why Me, Lord? And I am not an atheist, nor am I a pagan, but I believe in a lot of those kinds of things, and I'm probably more of an agnostic. But, you know, I too, like many of you, had quite a bit of doubt about whether I was an appropriate person for this position. And more than once I thought about calling Mickey and saying, I really have to resign. I just can't do it. But the more I thought about it, and I thought about what it means to be ordained and what it means to be a lay minister, I thought, why not me? And I know many of you have heard this before, and I apologize for using these hallowed words to apply to my little situation right now, but if not now, when? And if not me, who? And today, I really believe that I'm coming to sort of a culmination of a calling. When I was a young child, actually, I was raised as a Roman Catholic, and I felt a deep calling to be a nun. I felt I wanted to be a nun, and I went away to a convent school my first year of high school. And as a very young girl, I felt I did want to be of service, and I wanted to help, and I wanted to do all those wonderful things. But I just couldn't see myself in the position of being a nun and being an advisor or an educator for young, especially young women, about life if I really had not had an opportunity to explore and understand that life and to actually experience it myself. And so I had a lot of doubt, and when I went home for Christmas, or for summer vacation, I kissed a boy, and I liked it. And so thanks to my childhood sweetheart, Johnny Appel, you don't know me as Sister Mary Sheila. So, anyway, thank you. I'm glad you're laughing at that. I was trying to have a humorous tone to this, and it just kept falling flat when I was sharing it with Bill earlier this morning. But anyway, to make a long story short, it has been somewhat of a long, strange trip, finding myself here, being ordained in front of you all. And I'm not sure if I will ever feel comfortable in conducting a religious ceremony or performing some sort of a religious act, but I do want you to know that I commit myself to this position, and I want to be of service to our community, and I want to help us with our mission to boldly grow justice, compassion, and joy. And but I'm going to try to end this on another kind of humorous note. A friend of mine, when I told him what I was doing for the weekend, he said, "Are you kidding me? You're going to be ordained? What, an ordained sinner?" So, as we've talked about, none of us is better, none of us is lower, higher. We're all human, and I am one of your fellow humans, and I hope that I can help you, and I hope that you can trust me to keep your problems in confidence. And also, I hope you will remember to call me Sister Mary, Merry, Sheila.